G'day preppers, welcome to another video. Thought I'd do another video out of the pantry, and this time just talk about one item in particular, and that's long life UHT milk. I think it's great stuff to stockpile in the pantry. I know that quite a few people also like to keep powdered milk as part of their stockpile. For me, I don't particularly use powdered milk at all. I know you can make a few things from powdered milk. There's some recipes using powdered milk, but no, I just don't like powdered milk. It still tastes like water. I like a full cream milk mostly, and so I prefer to stockpile like this, ready to go milk. So there's no fuss, there's no getting out fresh water and making a mix, and it's still basically flavored milk, flavored water. So I don't know, everyone's different, but yeah, I'm even though it's UHT milk, I mean, it's obviously slightly different to your fresh milk that you buy at the grocery store on a day-to-day basis. But I also use this to rotate. I rotate this through my pantry at times when I run out of milk, and so it's really handy just to have a milk ready to go. And you want to, warm up milk and make a hot chocolate or cereal or something, and you don't have time to go to the store to go and get yourself your fresh milk. So I think it's a great item to have in the pantry, and normally I used to stock a lot of 2 litre and 1 litre, but I kind of now prefer to have the 1 litres because it's usually on a day-to-day basis. I rarely use it. It's obviously for stockpiling stuff, for my stockpile pantry. But when I do need milk, I only want 1 litre of it, because my milk is kind of a bit more specialised. It's Heart Smart milk, that I prefer to have, and I'm used to it. But if I just need milk as a, emergency before I get to the grocery store, 1 litre is usually plenty for me, and that way it's easy to go through. Rather, I found, like this one I've opened up, I've used half. I found that, I prefer to just drink my fresh milk. So, but there are other ways to obviously use it whenever you need milk, baking a cake or whatever else you need milk for. It's still handy, but yeah, I just found I prefer 1 litres. So anyway, as I mentioned, rotation in the whole pantry is the most important thing, rather than just stockpiling for trying to, maximise the dates by repackaging stuff and trying to preserve it for longer. I like to sort of run by the use by dates now. So what I do with this stuff is I maintain a good regular, staggered stock of the stuff. And so if I've noticed I haven't used this for quite a while in the kitchen, I'll check the use by dates. And if it's getting close to the use by date, then I've got a good little recipe that I want to show you. So let's go and do that. So I'll just move my milk, and I'm kind of simulating a prepping situation. So I'm not going to use my kitchen stove. I've got 3 of these butane little cookers. I've also got some grill tops I can put on top. This one I've been using every so often whenever we get a power outage, and I just want to boil water and stuff like that. This really does the job. They're awesome. At least I can boil a pot of water and or cook if need be. Like I said, I've got 3 of these. They're quite cheap, and you buy them at your hardware store and so on. So I've only ever had to pull out 1, so I've still got 2 brand new in the packet. And these butane bottles are reasonably cheap. I bought these quite a long time ago, so I think I've kind of, just on the corner of my eye, noticed that they've probably gone up a little bit since I last bought them. I think at one stage I was getting them for like $1 each. And yeah, so I maintain about 100 bottles of this butane gas, so, or 100 cans. So I think that, you know, 100 cans is pretty okay. All right. So what am I doing with my milk? Well, I'm doing a simple, basic farmer's cheese. Most likely you've already seen plenty of videos on YouTube making farmer's cheese. And so I thought, well, this is, for me, this is the ideal thing to help rotate the milk by just making a nice, it's like a cottage cheese. So I've got a litre here. So I think usually I think I make about 3 litres. So that's all I'll do is 3. So there you go. You know, this is what I like about this milk. You know, for some people they give it a bit of a bad rap. I can't see why. It's pretty darn good stuff. And you know, milk is milk, and you know, sure they heat treat it a little bit more than your regular milks, but geez, I find the taste a little bit different if you're drinking it straight out of the carton that hasn't been refrigerated. But once it's refrigerated, you pour a glass of milk and put some Milo in there or something like that, or make a hot chocolate, there's really no difference. And it's good value. You can, you know, buy this, you know, it's relatively cheap. It's like buying, you know, a cheap supermarket brand fresh milk, although this isn't. There's even cheaper than this. I could buy the grocery store brand, but I prefer a brand name, and it might work out to 10 or 15 cents a litre more. But I like to support brand names where I can, where it's reasonable. All right, so there we go. 3 litres of milk, and we'll fire her up. And there we go. We've got our nice flame going, and yeah, like I said, I find these portable little camping oven stoves, you know, really awesome. Just to help it heat up a little bit quicker, I'll put the lid on, and yeah, and so basically what we're looking for is for the milk to warm up and start heating up, starting to kind of your slight bubbles. That's all we want. And we don't, obviously we don't want it to boil over. Just when it starts bubbling a bit, we're ready to go. And it's not just your farmer's cheese, like your cottage cheese that you can make. Obviously a mozzarella cheese, and I'll probably make a mozzarella cheese another time on video with the same, once I get more milk that's running out. And we'll just let that heat for a little bit. Okay, so not sure if you noticed, but there are a few bubbles starting to form, and we're getting close to where we want it. And then all we simply need is some acid, I suppose. So white vinegar. Could be any kind of vinegar. It could also be citrus juice, lemon juice, lime, even orange juice, I suppose. And all we're going to do is we're going to put probably like a tablespoon at a time, and might be 3 to 5 tablespoons. It just depends on the quality of milk, because obviously milk is it's different all the time. It's a natural product, obviously, even though it's heat treated and stuff. There are different times of the year milk does different things. Okay, so we've got quite a few bubbles forming now, so I can turn down the heat a little bit. I don't want to turn it right off yet because it's a little bit different than full cream milk because it has been ultra heat pasteurized. I know a lot of cheese makers don't recommend using milk like this, but I'll turn it right down now, and I'll put about 2 tablespoons in, and just want to give it a bit of a stir. It's a really simple thing. It's something you could, show your kids, teach your kids how to make, in a disaster situation, you're looking for any kind of entertainment. Okay, so the heat's off. We've got a little, plenty of heat here. You can see probably went a little bit over with the heat. So about another tablespoon or so. So that's about 3 tablespoons. And we're just going to let this, curdle and, basically the curds separating from the whey. And don't have to sort of mix it vigorously, just be gentle and sort of like rub along the base to, just in case any curds, are sticking to the bottom. Okay. Go another one. So I'm certainly no cook or homesteader or anything, just your average prepper guy. And so, as you can see, anyone can kind of, it's not rocket science. And there we go. So the milk probably got, I should really, I've gotten my thermometer and sort of practice and try and get a good temperature. But basically, you just want the bubbles forming quite a bit. I just wanted to make sure, so I probably went a little bit longer. Now, obviously, there's, it would be quite acidic, not the curds, but the whey. But you don't want to throw away the whey, especially in a prepping situation where you're relying on everything you can sort of get your hands on, kind of thing. You can put the whey in as a soup base, a casserole base, but yeah, like a good hearty bean soup that lends itself to, a little bit of vinegar and stuff in there, a bit of acidity. And it's got, it does have a lot of health benefits. Some people even refrigerate it and, drink like, half a cup a day. Good for your gut health, they say. So certainly you don't want to throw it away. All right, so I've probably put 5 tablespoons, just for good measure. 1 more dollop, and that should do us. All right. Now, obviously, it's not your regular full cream milk. It is heat pasteurized and so on, heat treated. So from 3 litres, I can see that the curds, they're very, very fine in this case. So it just depends also on the batch of milk. So I'll let that sit for a minute. Okay, I've just taken it off the pot of the stove. Now, it's sat for a minute. What I'm going to do is transfer all this into that. So I've got basically a bowl and a colander, and I've got some clean muslin cloth. So this is about four layers thick, because when I get it, it's quite large pieces. I probably should cut it down, but I will for other purposes. I'll talk about that later. So I'm just going to pour this in. So you can see the separation of the whey from the curd. All right. And might as well get the bit of curd that's stuck in the pot. Okay, so that part's done. Now I just want to raise this. First ball it up. I suppose I didn't really... Oh, the colander kind of held it all together. Okay, it's actually probably a little bit too hot, just going by the amount of steam and the temperature. I just want this to drain and at the same time cool down. I'd like to squeeze it, but it's just too hot. So I think I did bring it up probably 10 degrees too much, but that's okay. So I do need should have got a long wooden stick, wooden spoon to sort of wrap this around. Just let it hang for I mean, it's super high. It doesn't matter how long you leave it hang. You can even hang it over your sink, tie it to your tap. And just to give you an idea, that's all just whey. Beautiful clear whey. And it doesn't taste vinegary really. It's got a little bit in there, but not a great deal. And like I said, that's a great base for, like, say if you're making a soup stock, or you were just making a soup, and you know, you would use probably half that in place of water. So it's still quite wet, and as you can see, it's a decent amount. And mind you, this is not something that I would do with this kind of milk, you know, on purpose. You know, like, I wouldn't buy the milk specifically for this kind of cheese. The reason why I'm doing it is to help rotate with the milk, because I don't use it all up, and it can catch up with me where I have a little bit, you know, too much more milk than I can actually use. And so when I do this, it allows me to then go and buy, so that's 3 litres of milk I've used up. It allows me to restock, and I might go and get another 10 1 litre bottles. And then just keep going like that. So I've got a staggered stock of milk, you know, pantry milk, ready to go. And there we have it. So I don't actually want this super dry, because what I'm doing it with this is not actually making, like, you know, semi, you know, solid like a cottage cheese, or a bit firmer, like a what's the cheese called here? Ricotta type of cheese. I do want to retain some of the whey for its health properties. Okay. So, there we have it. One little ball of farmer's cheese. Open it up. You can see it's got a beautiful off-white colour. Now I could leave it in this cheesecloth. Well, I can't really. What I would do is I would get another cheesecloth, and what I'd do with another option is to add quite a lot of salt and really squeeze out the moisture. You want to squeeze out as much as you can get. Like I said, this was a little bit too hot. I could have just let it cool down. But if you really squeezed out the moisture a lot and then you get a fresh cheesecloth, you can actually tie it back up. Well, first salt it really heavily, tie it back up and hang it in, like in the garage, somewhere under cover outside, and leave it for like a couple of months. I know it sounds strange. It does go a bit moldy. Natural mold will form on the outside as it's drying, but you just use a potato peel and you shave the outside off, and you've got a really beautiful, crumbly, hard cheese. And it's also salty because you need quite a lot of salt to preserve it. So there we go. So that's about, I'd say about a pound, a bit over a pound, half a kilo. And that's not bad from 3 litres of milk. So I'll just drain it. Got a little bit left. Okay. Now, everyone's got their own ideas. Let me just zoom in. Okay. So here it is, and you sort of break it up. You can see beautiful, beautiful soft cheese, and it's creamy. You can taste a little bit of that vinegar, not much, and it's so light and fluffy. It's incredible. It's almost like marshmallow cream. Really nice. So this is what I do. I don't have yogurt. That's why I didn't mind it being a little bit fresher. I could use, could even put some milk in there, but I prefer to use a Greek yogurt. So here I've got 4 big cloves of garlic, fresh garlic. There we go. Because it's kind of like, it's like a dip. Well, not really a dip, it's just like a cheese you would put on crackers. So I don't mind getting the little bits of skin. And then, good on me, some nice quality sea salt. Give it a good salt. I like a good kick because there's, obviously it's not salty at all. Making a bit of a mess. We got our spoon, and I'm just going to give it a good mash up. So it's not super dry. I can still hear a bit of the squishiness of the whey. I didn't know how much cheese I was going to end up with, so I didn't plan on a big enough bowl. And like I said, I didn't realize I was all out of yogurt. So normally I would put in 2 or 3 tablespoons of yogurt and get a nice creamy consistency. I can still do that. I'll probably do that tomorrow. before I start eating it, because with the garlic and the salt, especially the garlic, you want it to sit. You can eat it straight away, but the longer it sits, like at least 24 hours, and the garlic will totally infuse in it, and also the salt, it'll start getting around. And so yeah, so really good. The only thing is the garlic hasn't had a chance to infuse. You can get a Ritz cracker. Right, there we go. Look at that. Lovely. And if you got some so I got my mouth full. You got some homegrown vegetables like sliced cucumber, some tomato, celery sticks. You spread it out like a little charcuterie. It's comfort food, and in a disaster situation, this is just something nice and a bit of a delicacy. And what you've done is you've used up your shelf milk to good use. And yeah, it really does need, because it's kind of crumbly and stuff, but it's not dry. It's very fluffy and light. It's beautiful. One of the best batches I've actually made. And look at that. That's a decent sized bowl. And like I said, all you need is a couple of dollops of Greek yogurt. Mix it in. Obviously, the more you put in, the more smooth and creamy it goes. Yogurt's the best, I find. And there you go. And then just let it sit for a day in the fridge. You don't have to. You can even sit it in the kitchen table for a few hours and just let that garlic and salt infuse. Could also put some chives in there, parsley, any kind of herb you like, if that's your thing. Obviously, cracked pepper would go nice as well. It just depends on your flavour. But I just like it like this most of the time. Salt, garlic, and tomorrow it will be a bit of yogurt. And that's it. There you go, guys. So this is the way I utilise my full cream UHT long life milk. I got no problem stockpiling this because it lasts for, the use by date's usually over a year. So plenty of, even if I have 40 1 litre bottles, I can get through them throughout the year. Obviously, I don't buy 40 all with the same use by date. 10 every month or so like that till you build up decent stock, and then just watch how much you use and you keep replenishing that stock. And that way you've always got milk for any emergency. Fantastic preparation. And once if you find that your use by dates are going down, make yourself a nice farmer's cheese dip with the garlic. If you got garlic, don't need it. If I wanted to make this a little bit more, if I didn't have, say, garlic on hand, I could always use a bit more milk, just straight in. Or I could put more whey in there and get it a bit more mushier, so you can actually dip a cracker in there. But for me, this is the perfect stuff. Look at that. And once that garlic infuses, and I put a bit of yogurt in there, it's going to be a real smooth dip. Wonderful. All right, guys. Well, hope that was a bit of interest to you, a bit of fun. Farmer's milk from Stockpiling UHT. Sorry, farmer's cheese from Stockpiling UHT Milk. Keep it in your pantry. Mine's up over there. And I've only got probably 10 litres left, so I'm overdue on stocking up at least another 10 or 15 litres. And just keep doing that as I go. Keep prepping, have fun, and I'll catch you next time.